Welcome to the photo sorting, tweaking, sharing freebie that is Picasa 2 from Google. Unless you use a Mac, of course, in which case you're not so welcome because it's XP only, but it works fine under Vista, which is what I'm using here. PC users, go to google.co.uk to download yours now. On first installation, Picasa suggests something that's actually pretty dumb. Completely scan my computer for pictures. Well, if you do that, you'll get every splash screen and in-program graphic and probably the contents of your web browser and any video that's on the system, which will take an age to sift through in Picasa. So we've put some pictures into the Pictures folder of Vista, and now we click on Continue to continue. I fast forwarded it beyond the import progress bar because it's boring, and here we've got a load of rather crisp thumbnails that you can scroll up and down through with the scroll wheel of the mouse. Alternatively, there's this rather natty little device at the side here, a non-linear vertical scroller. The further you move it away from the centre détente, the faster everything scrolls. You'll see that folder names retain their names in Picasa, along with the date on which the images are actually shot. And I think here we've got some images that were taken in Japan in June 2002 on a Fujifilm S2 Pro. If you find that the thumbnails are too big, then use the little scroller down here, push it to the left and they get smaller. Alternatively, you can shove it to the right to make them big, which is useful if you're trying to spot shots that are actually out of focus. As you can see, Picasa updates thumbnails very rapidly and they're all nice and crisp, so that's to its credit. Now we have a series of images that are on their sides, because the camera is on its side. So let's shift click on them to select the row and then go down to the rotate left button, and that's pretty quick. That's very quick indeed. So that's good. But what if we've got a series of shots that are a mishmash of sideways and upright, such as we've got here? Well, we're in luck, because if you press on Control and then click on each image, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, you've made a non-contiguous selection. Rotate them left and up they flip. You'll see also at bottom left that there's a photo tray. It's a kind of a holding area for the thumbnails. So we'll head for Stafford Town Centre, choose a selection of images. Here they are. And they'll appear in the photo tray. And you can hold them there for later editing in case you want to make Stafford Town Centre look more interesting, and who wouldn't? And if you want to clear that selection, just press the clear button, and of course the program will ask you if you really want to do this. Another way to pluck images out for later editing is to click on them and then add them to the starred photos album at the top left there, and there they are with little stars. You can actually save changes of that, and yes, it will ask you if you really want to save changes. Okay, more on folders, and we're off to that holiday destination, 100 Olymp, which is actually Legoland, but I was carrying an Olympus camera. Right click to change the folder name. 100 Olymp goes to Legoland. You can put in a place taken, which was obviously Legoland, and a description, and if I wanted to fool anybody into thinking I wasn't actually there on that date, you can also change the date via the dialogue. So then goes the description, boink, and there's the calendar. Now everybody takes really rubbish photos at times, and zipping over to the right we can find a couple. There they are. He's not actually facing the camera, so you can click to select and delete them from the disk, and nobody need ever know that sometimes you mess up. However, if you don't want to actually delete the shots, just get them out of Picasa, you can hide whole folders. Right click on the folder and just go Remove from Picasa, and of course it will ask you if you really want to do it. Yes, I do. With a sequence of shots, some of a city centre and some of a really great nuclear reactor, which are a bit out of context, so these could do with going into their own folder. So you can split the folder, right clicking and scrolling to the entry, put in a new folder name, can even change the date. This is a reactor at Visaginas in Lithuania, and there we are, and we'll do the same again with shopping in Visaginas town centre, so we can split that out, same process, split folder, put in the name, shopping in Visaginas, boom. And OK, we'll save changes, and you see the little progress meter down the bottom right hand. I think we'll skip past that because it's a bit tedious. While we're in Lithuania, let's go to the geographical centre of Europe. And there's me standing in front of a column. Right click for properties and you'll find something far more exciting than me. Is all the camera settings of the Fujifilm FindPix S602 zoom that I was using, or at least my colleague, on the day, and all the settings are there. It's kind of like EXIF information. Not bad for a basic photo program. Now I'm a bit off centre as per usual, so we could edit that in any particular program that's on the system. But a double click on the icon brings up Picasa's own basic editing tools, the basic fixes. It's worth noting, of course, these arrows at the top enables you to scroll through the icons in this particular view. So let's head for the crop button at top left under basic fixes. You're given a number of standard photo sizes. 10 by 15 in English is 4 by 6, but we'll go for a manual crop. So as usual, it's a case of clicking and dragging, centering up the subject, and then you just apply. And I'm central, but the pillar is not. Oh well. So let's hightail it to Greece, Isle of Sifnos, and oh my word, the horizon is sloping. There's a straighten command. Now this is rather handy. It displays a grid over the image, and there's a little slidey bar down the bottom, and you can waggle it around and align the horizon with the grid. Wow, that's too far, the gods are angry. And just tweak it until it all falls nicely into place, and then apply. And after a long hard day straightening horizons, it's nice to put your feet up and ponder the sunset. Now we've got a bit of a contrast problem here, but Picasa does have a decidedly unadjustable but useful, I suppose, auto contrast tool. That's brighten it up. Also little control over colour, but there's an auto colour button, and that just brings out the sunset that bit more. The foreground subject is still a bit too dark, so you can bring in some fill light just to lighten things up. Alternatively, and there's a multiple undos here, which is useful. Undo auto colour, undo auto contrast. There's an I'm feeling lucky button. But one click and it applies a load of contrast and colour adjustments, and we've still got fill light to play with. Anyway, while we've got our feet up, it's always pleasant to have a nice bottle of binge, or svitoris in this case, although somebody appears to have drunk it. Oh well. Under the tuning tab, we've got a number of other tonal adjustments to make. Bring in some fill light to lighten things up in the foreground. We can really burn those highlights if we want to get nasty. And bring up the shadows, and it creates a very contrasty image. See the brown of the bottle and the reds of the label coming out. To perhaps take the fill light down a little bit, reduce the highlights, and it's starting to look quite pleasant. There are one-click fixes. There's one down here actually for colour temperature, which we'll take a little look at now. I'll just point out it's possible to undo tuning all at the same time and redo it with a single click. Colour temperature, well, we'll undo the tuning again, pull it over to the right, and it warms things up. But who wants warm beer? So shove it over to the left and things go a bit blue. But there is no beer, so we'll stick it back to the right. Anyway, so far we have an idea of how quick and easy it is to use Picasa to organise your photos, and we've taken a quick look at some of the basic fixes and the tuning options. In part 2, we'll look at effects, some of the special effects available, and how to share your photos with other people.